Taiwan Semiconductor Stock is getting a lot of interest from investors given its position in the booming AI industry. It's a supplier to some of the most innovative AI companies, including Nvidia. So in this video, I'm going to highlight where I think TSM stock could be in 2025, by the end of 2025. So I'll give my stock price prediction for Taiwan Semiconductor Stock in this video. So let's jump right into it. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. Alright, to make this stock price prediction, I'm going to need a few numbers and a few estimates. The first of which is its earnings per share estimate for 2025. So what you see here is $7.10 is what the analysts on Wall Street that are following Taiwan Semiconductor Stock, what they think this company will deliver in earnings per share in 2025. Interestingly, these earnings per share forecasts have been moving downward. 90 days ago, analysts on Wall Street thought that Taiwan Semi would deliver $7.94 in earnings per share in 2025. That's been lowered to $7.10 in 2025. I'm also going to need Taiwan Semiconductor's current stock price, which right now is $134.86. Additionally, I need its price to earnings ratio, which right now is trading at a price to earnings of 26. All right, so now that we have the numbers for Taiwan Semiconductor that we need to make our financial prediction, we can plug them into the model here and come up with a few scenarios of where Taiwan Semi stock price could be in 2025. So if its earnings per share comes in at $7.10 as expected, and the price to earnings ratio stays the same at 26, its stock price could rise to $184.60, which, if you were paying attention earlier, would be a considerable increase from the $134 per share it's currently trading at. That would be an increase of $50 per share, or almost 50%. If I was a Taiwan Semiconductor stock investor, I would be happy with that return over this next year and 3 quarters. Significant improvement, to be sure. Now, if the price to earnings ratio was to fall to 22, then the stock price could increase to $156 per share by the end of 2025. Now, if we look at the stock price 134 up to 156, that wouldn't be very much of an improvement. Still, it would be a reasonable return on investment on Taiwan Semiconductor stock over almost 2 years. Now, if the price to earnings was to fall meaningfully down to 18, then the stock price could fall to $127 per share, which would be a decrease from where it's at today. And finally, in the worst case scenario I have modeled here, Taiwan Semi price to earnings falls to 14, the stock price could fall to $99.40. However, all that being said, in my base case, I think Taiwan Semi's price to earnings ratio either stays where it is or decreases slightly, given that it's already at above average price to earnings ratio going back the last 10 years. You can see its current PE of 26 is about a little bit above average of where it's been in the last 10 years. It's not relatively cheap. It's not at a level where I would say, oh, it needs to improve to return to its historical average, or it needs to fall to return to its historical average. It's right about where it's been in its historical average. It's been higher at moments and it's been lower at moments. And given the rising effectiveness of AI and given the step increase in demand for semiconductor chips due to the role they play in development of artificial intelligence, I would suggest that Taiwan Semiconductor's price to earnings ratio right now is fairly priced. It's at a fair value right now. So given all those prospects, where would TSM stock price be by the end of 2025? My base case estimate for where the stock price will be somewhere in the range of $180 per share and $200 per share. So on the higher end of this estimate is where I would have Taiwan Semi stock price moving to. Of course, I can't talk about Taiwan Semi without mentioning its geopolitical risks. But I also recently did a video about how Taiwan Semi is alleviating some of those geopolitical risks. It's got manufacturing capacity expansions happening around the world, including Japan and in the United States, that should reduce some, not all, of course, of its geopolitical risks. It's going to take incremental improvements like that to diversify its manufacturing base outside of Taiwan, where it's primarily based right now. So those moves will help, although it's not going to solve its geopolitical risk completely. Still, it will help, and every little step counts, because right now, Taiwan Semiconductor, its valuation is trading at a discount because of that geopolitical risk. If this company was based in the US, its valuation would be significantly higher. Its valuation would be significantly higher from where it is today, because based on the company's prospects, based on the company's performance, its profitability, its cash flow, its position as a market player, it would be valued at a significantly higher price to earnings ratio. I would suggest it would be in the 30s, in the mid 30s, instead of in the mid 20s right now, given the same business characteristics that it has compared to a domestic company with similar characteristics. So for that reason, the more Taiwan Semi can diversify away from its geopolitical risks, the more it can have an upward effect on its price to earnings ratio, given that's the thing that's weighing down Taiwan Semi stock. Additionally, the earnings per share estimates have been moving downward in the last 90 days, as I've shared with you, from 794 all the way down to 710. But as you notice, recently they've been moving higher. They fell all the way to $7 before rising to $7.03 and then $7.10. So it looks like the downward revisions bottomed out 30 days ago and are now moving upward again as the demand looks more clear for Taiwan Semi. Its investments in capacity expansions are more clear, and investors get a better grasp of what its profits are going to be like for 2025. They've stopped the downgrades and have looked to increase these estimates. Now, of course, nobody knows for sure what's going to happen in the future, and these are all just estimates, so take them with a grain of salt. These are the analysts on Wall Street that are following Taiwan Semi stock, and they submit their forecast for what they think the earnings per share will be. Some think it might be higher, some think it might be lower. This is the consensus estimate among those analysts. So that's my stock price prediction, and I'll remind you, I do have Taiwan Semi stock rated as a buy. I've had it rated as a buy for some time now because of all of the factors I mentioned already in the video. Excellent profitability for this company, excellent cash flow, and excellent market share prospects in a competitive advantage for an industry that's hard to break through into, given the billions of dollars required and the advanced technology know-how required to build out one of these semiconductor facilities. Before I let you go, let me tell you about the greatest deal on YouTube. With just a click of a button, you can get free financial analysis from a professor with decades of investing experience. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you again soon.